So, before we go any further, let's say a big hello to the man we all love, who's here in the studio, back again this morning. I think you're probably the biggest friend of the show because you've been on so many times, Tony. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be back again.
Good to be back again. And it's good to see Motley the dog again. Good morning, Motley. Woof, woof, woof.
Yes, he's chilling out a little bit now.
He is. He's had his bowl of water. He's all sorted.
That's it. He's cool now. Yeah, he's very good.
So we're taking questions this morning, right up until 12 o'clock. Any doggy questions people have got that they want to ask you. We've had one come in already from Kelly in Southwood and Ferrers. And Kelly says, I take my dog to training classes. We use food and toys as rewards, but my neighbour takes her dog to a different training club and they're not allowed to use food in class. Why is this?
Yeah, that's a very good question. To motivate a dog to do anything, you've got to look at what motivates a dog. In a class situation, you can reward your dog using toys or your voice. You can be very happy and jolly and praise your dog, but often in those situations it doesn't really cut it. A dog often gets that away from class situation. So certainly when I train dogs, I do use food, purely because it's a primary reinforcer, which means basically if the dogs didn't eat they would die. So why not use it, help to use it to get the behaviour that you want. If you handle it properly and manage the food properly, then it's a very clean and efficient way of motivating the dog. You know, you ask a dog to sit. You can even lure the dog using a little bit of food. As soon as the dog sits, he gets the food. It's very, very quick. Also, if you do use food, a very good idea to fade it out pretty quickly. Once you've got the initial behaviour, you know, you don't always need the food. You want the dog thinking, well, I might get a bit of food, I might get a bit of praise, I might get a toy. So keep the dog guessing. But certainly one thing that I find with food, it also kind of conditions the dog to the environment. So a particularly scary, possibly scary environment like a classroom, a village hall, which is very odd really. A dog walks into it. If there's food around, suddenly he's feeling better about the situation. There's other dogs around, they're not too bad. Every time I see those dogs I get food, and there's a lot of people wandering around, so straight away the dog likes the environment.
It's like humans really. I mean, if you walk into a room and you're scared and you see a cream cake, you're going to think this is okay.
Yeah, there's an idea for school. But yeah, I mean, you want the environment to be rewarding. You want the dog to want to go back and not think, oh my God, I hate it there, you know. I don't really like toys in that situation. There's too many other dogs around. So purely, I think some classes use food because it's efficient. It tends to work. And if a dog's not eating food, then you've got to ask yourself why. It's very likely that the dog is too stressed and maybe shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So in which case I would start working with the dog outside, maybe in the car park, and then gradually bring the dog in, maybe over a number of weeks. But if a dog's not eating, it's the old digestion shuts down, ready for the fight or flight. It means the dog is very, very stressed. So it's also a good indication for me as a dog trainer. If a dog's not eating food, I like to know why. It could be that the dog doesn't like me or it doesn't like the environment, but it's a very clear-cut test for me.
Brilliant. Tony, thank you for that. Lots more questions to come, I'm sure. If you've got a question for Tony, give us a call now. 01702 45 50 60 is the number to call. You can use the text, you can use the email, you can use the Facebook page. Get your questions in and we'll try and get as many as we can in before midday. Here's some White Snake. Just great songs. This is Sunday Live. It's 11:31 now. We've got Tony Cruse from TC Dog Training in the studio. Now, there's something you haven't done yet, Tony. You asked me if you could do. What was it you wanted to do?
Yeah, sorry. I must say Happy Mother's Day to my mum, who's listening in Elscone. She'll be listening there with her dog called Woody. Woody's a greyhound, retired greyhound. Absolutely fabulous dog. If anyone out there is thinking about getting a dog, if you've never had a dog before, or if you're, let's say, getting on in years and you want a dog that's quite chilled out, generally a retired greyhound is a good choice.
Are they relaxed animals?
Very gentle, very relaxed. They call them 40-mile-an-hour couch potatoes. They've done the 40-mile-an-hour stuff around the track, and all they want to do now is relax and have the odd walk here and there. So they're fantastic dogs, really are.
Wonderful. Okay, next question now. This is from Andrew in Southend. My 5-month-old spaniel has started to become aggressive over his hide chews. He'll snarl, growl, and his hackles will rise, especially when I stroke him as he chews it. Have you got any tips?
Okay, Andrew. So, what I would suggest is look at your dog, this spaniel. Look at what your dog is telling you. The snarling, the growling are little indications that he's not happy. It's a nice form of communication. The last thing you want to do is punish your dog for growling. What I would suggest is stepping back and thinking, okay, well, he's not happy. I'll let him finish his chew, and then I might work on something else. What you want is your dog to be happy around you as he's eating. If you're sitting next to your dog as he's eating and touching him around his face particularly, he's not going to be particularly happy about it. It's going to be the same as if myself or you, Tracy, if you're eating something and I came up and sat next to you and started patting you on the head, for example.
You get a slap in the face, Tony. That's what you get.
Exactly. But you wouldn't like it, exactly. So you might even give me a warning beforehand and say, look, back off, buddy. You know, you'll tell me to go away. Step away from the cake. Yes, that's it. And if I did it again, you'd probably clout me. So exactly what the dog is saying. So what I would work on is actually providing your dog something, perhaps as they're eating. If he's eating a hide, I'd probably walk past him, say hi, and then throw him another hide. As he goes to take that hide, you could gently take the other hide away. So you're getting used to exchanging things with him. But you want to start off with something very small, like a little bit of kibble that's worth nothing, that isn't worth a great deal to the dog. As he's eating that, you'd show him a little bit of cheese, for example, something really nice, and he goes, wow, I love that cheese. So he leaves the kibble, thank you, I'll take the kibble, you can have the cheese. So whenever you're around, he's actually looking up, expecting maybe he'll get something better. So rather than thinking, oh my God, you might take that away from me, he'll be thinking, yes, something nice is coming along, and I love you when you walk past me, because good things fall from you as you walk past. So what better way to get the dog back on your side, you know? Absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks, Tony. Any more questions? Keep them coming. We're going to have some music now from David Essex. Playing just great songs. This is Sunday Live. It's 11:46 now. That's the Eurythmics. We've got Maroon 5 on the way next. Before that, though, we've got Tony Cruse from TC Dog Training with us in the studio, answering all your questions. Move swiftly on because we've got so many to get in. My Border Terrier Alfie. Oh, sorry, this is from Sandra in Benfleet. My Border Terrier Alfie is getting very distressed when I leave for work in the morning. This is despite the fact there are other people in the house. He barks and jumps at my legs as I try and open the door. Tony, have you got any advice? Yes, obviously. I'll try. Without seeing it, it's difficult. But judging just by that, it looks like Sandra's dog is obviously very, very bonded towards her, especially if there's people in the house and he's still not wanting her to go. So he's getting very, very anxious as she leaves. What I would suggest to Sandra is try mixing up her routine in the morning. What's probably happened is as she's leaving the door, her dog is actually anticipating this. Probably she'd pick up her car keys, put her shoes on, and the dog's already, oh my God, she's leaving. So if she could break up her routine a little bit, maybe change the time that when she walks her dog, change the time when she feeds her dog, picks up her car keys occasionally randomly so it doesn't send out a signal that she's about to leave. Just mess up her routine a little bit. Dogs are very, very driven by routine, and if it's a chain every morning, probably this little dog is getting more and more anxious every morning. Also, if there's other people in the house, why not get the other people to feed her dog, you know, to make them a little bit more of a part of the family rather than her being the sort of provider for everything for that dog, and make the rest of the family providers, and then maybe the dog won't be so drawn to her, you know, share it around a little bit. If every member of the family feeds the dog, then he might not be so sort of bonded towards her to such an extent. But also give the dog something to do as she's leaving. So really mess up your routine a little bit. Just as you're leaving, maybe give your dog a Kong or something yummy, so he actually looks forward to you leaving rather than thinking, oh my God, I don't like you leaving. That's how I do it. Pig's ears. Yeah, pig's ears are pretty good. Down Flash and Rusty. Come on here, have a pig's ear in the kitchen. They're distracted with that, out the front door and in the car. And they're feeling good about it. And probably, as I mentioned earlier, as soon as you pick up your car keys, they're thinking, pig's ears. Yeah. They're not thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to be on my own. So, again, that's conditioning. That's making being on their own a good thing rather than a thing where they can get into trouble and panic. Wonderful. Thanks, Tony. Okay, let's have some Maroon 5 now. They've probably got room for just one more question after this. Let's make it count. Playing just great songs. This is Sunday Live. Time now for
for our one last question with Tony Cruse, the dog trainer. Last week, my boxer Paddy jumped up at a man in the local park. Oh, sorry, this is from Dave in Chelmsford. The man insisted Paddy is dominant and said I should be more firm with him. Is my dog dominant, and if so, why? Sounds very exciting.
The great dominance thing. Well, this is one of the park, your local park experts. I meet lots of them every day. But the whole dominance thing, I could go on about that for another day. But you've got to look at the situation. I hate to label dogs, and I hate to label them dominant, because if you call the dog dominant, then straight away people are going to start thinking that dog's going to start pushing issues and, you know, taking advantage. Not the case. In this situation, it sounds like the dogs are probably unsociable, probably jumping up to say hi, certainly not jumping up to dominate him. And in actual fact, within the dog world, dominance doesn't really exist. There's never one truly dominant dog. They'll be a little bit more forceful perhaps around something they want, but that would change very, very frequently. One dog might be happy around food and might be a bit more bossy around food, but he won't be around toys. So this whole dominance thing is a little bit old-fashioned and a little bit misleading. So try and look at the situation, and rather than wondering what your dog is, let's work on how to stop your dog jumping up, for example, or how to greet a stranger more appropriately. So you go back to training, you perhaps put him on the lead, walk up to a stranger, and whenever the forepaws are on the floor, he gets a little treat from yourself. So that just teaches the dog, if I stay on the floor, good stuff happens.
Brilliant.
Yeah, as simple as that. It's back to making the good behaviour more reinforcing and more rewarding.
Awesome. Tony, thank you very much for that. As always, thank you for coming in, for your super advice. Never time to get through all the questions people want to do. If people want to find out more, get in touch with you. You've got your Galley Woofers group. If people want to know more, how do they touch base with you?
Yeah, Galley Woofers is, we've got new classes starting next Wednesday. We're looking like starting on Tuesdays as well now, hopefully, if everything comes together, if the planets align. But also I run TC dog training, which is sort of home visits, any behavioural issues. So if you want any behaviour issues, any puppies introduced to the world, I'm the person. If you want any classes, then Galley Woofers in... Where's Galley Woofers?
Gallywood.
Yeah, well done. Galley Woofers in Gallywood is the place to go.
Brilliant. Tony, thank you very much for coming in and talking to us this morning. Let's finish the show with a little bit of music. Here's Roxy Music.